So y'all, I just got off work not too long ago, probably about 45 minutes ago or so. As y'all can see, it is dark outside. I am currently in my office. I normally record my sit down videos in our bedroom. We just moved into this place because if you have not watched any of our videos, go back and watch the previous vlog that I did, which was our wedding vlog. Just a little small vlog to kind of show our wedding and our honeymoon. So right now I have so much stuff that I really want to do to this office, but I decided that I want to come in here and kind of step away from like the normal way that I do my vlogs and do like a kind of like a sit down portion. Very informal. I do have on a microphone because it's a lot of echo in here because this is a new home. So anyway, got off work, just got back from being on Thanksgiving break. Super excited that I had several days to be able to be off work, not think about nothing that's related to the people that work in the plant. For those of you who don't know me, I work in human resources. I've been working in human resources for about 9 years now. And I'm working in a manufacturing plant, which is different than any other type of HR that I've ever done. I've always done corporate HR, so I worked in corporate HR for finance and worked in corporate HR for retail. I've had a little experience in working in construction, and now I'm working in manufacturing human resources, which means that I'm on site every day. So with me being on site every day and being around employees every day and dealing with so much every day, the break that we had for being off for the whole week of Thanksgiving did me well. So I'm adjusting to getting back to work and getting back in the saddle. But I hope that y'all had a pretty good Thanksgiving. I know for me, I probably put some clips in this vlog to kind of show y'all some of the things that I did. I didn't take a picture or do a video of my turkey or my ham. All that came out really good. Everything was so good. I cooked for my family, which is gonna be myself, my husband, and my dog. We didn't go to my parents' home, my mom, my stepdad's, or my husband's mom home with her husband. We decided to bring in our first Thanksgiving together, and it was really, really good. But with that, with the holidays, with the holiday season for Christmas and New Year's, Christmas Eve, all of that coming up, I know that it's a lot of people who are having a difficult time navigating through this season. I know for me, I've experienced a lot of different losses within these past about three years or so. Starting at the pandemic time on up until like, I'm not gonna say present, but starting at the pandemic time in like 2020, that's when I experienced like a lot of grief, a lot of loss. So I experienced loss of relationship, loss of a friend through death, loss of my father through death, loss of job. And with the recent losses, that was just a loss of my car. So I was in a car accident. So for me, I know looking at social media, like a lot of people, especially on Instagram, they post their reels and it's like Christmassy and it's beautiful and it's like the most wonderful time of year. But for a lot of people, this is not the most wonderful time of year. And I've had my Christmas and holiday seasons and Thanksgiving seasons where I have not felt like it's the most wonderful time of year. And so that's the reason why I'm doing this portion of the video. I by no means am a therapist or anything like that. I'm just someone who's experienced loss and navigate through loss, and I'm here to kind of offer some sense of encouragement to other people who really want to skip through the season. If you can have a remote right now and fast forward to skip all the way to like March of next year, because you got to navigate through Valentine's Day too. If you can skip to March of next year, you probably would do that. But for me, it took a while for me to get to the point where I'm currently at now when it comes to my mental health, when it comes to my emotional wellness, when it comes to my spirit life. So I kind of brushed through some of the things that I experienced, but the most impacting loss that I experienced was the death of my father. Death is permanent. Of course, as a believer, I believe, my dad was a man of God. He had a relationship with Jesus Christ, and that I'll see him in heaven one day. But aside from that, had to realize or come to grips with the fact that he is not going to be returning to this present earth where I'm living at. That was one of the hardest things to navigate through. But that's one of the first steps that if you are experiencing loss and it's a fresh loss, or even if you're somebody who it's been years since your loved one has passed or someone who's significant to you has passed, you have to accept the fact that they are not returning to this earth. If you believe that person is in heaven, they would not have a desire to come back down here on this earth where it presently stands and be here and navigate through this life if they're experiencing the joys of heaven. That's one of the things that my sister said at my dad's homegoing service that kind of like stuck with me. Like, if my dad had an opportunity to come down or come back from where he currently is in heaven, he would not take us up on the offer, because where he is so much greater than where we are currently at. So that's one thing that I had to come to grips with, and that helped me to navigate easier. Did it resolve some of the depression and the emptiness that I was feeling? No. I feel like if you've experienced loss or death of someone who you love, you are always going to have a void that you feel. That parent-child relationship especially, you're going to have a void that you feel until probably the day that you leave this earth. So I've accepted the fact that I'll have that feeling, but I also have a feeling of being able to continue on. Now, early on, some of the things that I did, it wasn't like specific steps that I was following from someone like a grief guru or a counselor. These were things that I kind of did, and I realized that it was helping me to cope. But one of the things that I did was focus on self-care. So for me, during the time that my dad passed away, I've always been someone who works hard or whatever. I've always been someone who has been independent. And I've always been someone who, I ain't gonna say a hustler, but like a go-getter or whatever. This loss kind of slowed me down and made me embrace life and focus on self-care and taking care of myself. So with self-care, a lot of people like to think of it as being selfish, because the image that you see of self-care or the stuff that you see of self-care online is going to get your hair done, going to get your nails done, going to get facials, going and traveling, and those are forms of self-care. But some of the forms of self-care that I feel have been neglected are simple things that are as simple as taking a bath. So for me, one of the things that I did during the season of loss and grief was I took baths. Like I always have been a bath taker. I've always been a bath person over showers, but it's something about a bath that is just different when you are experiencing something heavy. So what I did was I got me a playlist, and I'll probably include the playlist down below in the description box. I got a bath time playlist that I would listen to, and I would play it, and I would get my bath water ready. I bought Dr. Teals Epsom salt in the lavender. I had eucalyptus as well. Epsom salt can help to relieve tension in your muscles and in your body and help you to relax. I also had one with melatonin. Sometimes when you're on your period and you grieving, it's a lot, because you're already going through a lot when it comes to your hormones. Your body is navigating through a lot of different stuff. You're going through all these different phases. And so If you do get a Epsom salt, the Dr. Teals menstrual cycle one, the one for periods, works well as well. So bathing, taking baths is something that truly helped me to kind of cope and to relax, kind of de-stress and help with my body. Not saying I wasn't bathing before, because I was washing and bathing before, but I put a lot into my baths, like setting the tone, setting the mood, having a candle, like a soy candle, cutting the lights off sometimes, like sometimes cutting the lights off, having candles set. Sometimes not just having a regular bath playlist, but for me, I would have like praise and worship going, and I would be in the bathtub and have more of an awareness of my body, awareness of what I'm doing, awareness of what's going on. And so bathing helped me significantly to kind of cope and to relax during this time. Another thing that helped me was Audible. So Audible is an app that you can get on your phone. It is an app that I believe is available through Amazon or Amazon Prime, some way, somehow. I'll put a link down below to Audible. So Audible is an app where you can download books. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to a lot of musicians have like concerts and different stuff on there. They have different series. Some of the series are free to listen to once you have the Audible membership. 10 out of 10 recommend listening to Audible. 10 out of 10 recommend not just listen to Audible for books that are for self-improvement or religious books, but 10 out of 10 recommend it for fiction books. So fiction books, listen to fiction during the time that you're going through something heavy. I recommend it. And the reason why I recommend it is because when you are already carrying something heavy, you don't need to be listening to or taking in things that are heavy. You need to be listening to things that are lighthearted. So for me, I got into listen to like rom-com books, listen to comedy, listen to just different series on there, listen to some lighthearted stuff about finance. So I recommend downloading Audible, listening to it, making it fun because they have it to where you can earn different badges for how much you read. So I have about 3 more badges to get out of, I think it's like 18 badges. I could be wrong. About 3 more badges that I have to get on Audible, but it helped me to sit, listen, be aware, be in the moment, be there now, like be present. So download Audible, listen to Audible. That was one of the things that kind of helped me to navigate, cope, get my mind on something else. Another thing was sermons. Listen to sermons, listen to motivational speeches. Some sermons that truly helped me to get through were sermons from Dr. Charles Stanley. I listened to a lot of motivational stuff by Les Brown. I can't tell you who to listen to, but listen to people who motivate you. Those 2 people were great for me to listen to because they were men. I had lost someone who was the prominent male figure in my life, that being my dad. Then I also, several months later, the same year in 2022, lost my pastor who I've known since birth. So that was a significant loss to me as well. So me hearing insight, getting wisdom from men like Charles Stanley, Les Brown, other different male figures kind of helped to nurture me and kind of helped me to heal when it came to the grief part. So good sound wisdom, good godly wisdom for me. I was able to attain that and listen to sermons. So it don't necessarily have to be listen to sermons. It can also be you going to church and listen to your pastor, doing whatever you need to do to get good news in your ears. Another thing that kind of helped me was music. So for me, I'm a music head. I love music. I love all genres except for heavy metal. I ain't gonna listen to no heavy metal. You can't get me to listen to no heavy metal. But I am a music girl. So I took this time to kind of research, listen to new music, listen to some old music. I just love music. So for me, I got lost in music, listen to songs that my dad liked. But with listening to songs and music that my dad liked, I had to realize what songs I could not listen to, because sometimes I would listen to certain songs and I would find myself somewhere on the floor crying or feeling sad or feeling low or like really miss my dad. So take your time and listen to things that remind you of that person, because it can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. Next, one of the things that I would say helped me to navigate was also using the resources that were available to me through my job. So I went through a layoff that same exact week that my dad passed away, but maybe like a couple of months later, I ended up getting an employer, and one of the benefits that were available day one was EAP. So an employee assistance professional was at access. I had access to an employee assistance professional to be able to speak to them and get counseling sessions. I signed up for some counseling sessions. Those sessions were free. I was able to talk to someone to help me kind of navigate. Although I'm gonna be honest, it really didn't help me like that in a sense of counseling. It more so helped me to be able to talk to somebody when I really didn't feel like I had someone to talk to. Because a lot of times when you're going through grief, especially if you have a significant other, at the time, my now husband and I were just dating and we were fresh in our relationship. We're like a month and a half into our relationship when my dad passed. So a lot of the stuff that I was experiencing with the loss, I did not want to put on him. Although some of the things that I was experiencing, I did kind of, put on him, not purposely, but just in the process of grieving. Sometimes you can't help that you may leak over, or that you may, lean on that person a little bit more than you would. I did do that, but one of the things that helped me to kind of pull away from leaning on other people like that, or like pulling on other people, or stop me from bleeding on other people like that, was me being able to talk to a professional. Aside from having self-care, aside from listening to music, aside from all the other things that I just mentioned, another thing that I did was I picked and chose where I wanted to go and who I wanted to be around. I kind of made sure that I only showed up to places where I truly wanted to be, or where I truly felt accepted. Like prior to my dad passing away, I'm not saying that my eyes weren't open to how people really were, but like a lot of times when you go through something significant like a loss, it makes you see life through a different lens. So I kind of analyze my relationships and friendships differently. Now that I've lost someone, I just examine things a different way. So I show up to events. If I'm going to go to an event, especially if it's after a fresh loss, I'm only showing up to where I feel accepted, wanted, needed, loved. And if that's not the case, I'm not going. But at the places that I was going, that sometimes don't work for everybody, but for me, it truly worked. One thing that I did that was the opposite of this was I made sure that when I was feeling like I was in a slump or something, or like I was in a depression, or I felt like I was hearing things like, oh, you don't have nothing to live for, or you should be hopeless, or, it's better to be in heaven with your dad. Pretty much like suicidal ideation. Anytime you're experiencing those types of things, that's when it's time to get up out the house and get around other people. So for me, since I lived alone, I sometimes would just randomly go to my mom, my stepdad's, or sometimes I would just randomly get my dog, go in the car, go to the park and walk with him. Or sometimes I'll, call my boyfriend and we'll go somewhere. He helped significantly during this time. So us going on those date nights and doing things together during the early stages of losing my dad really helped me. I was out more on dates and at different events in those first few months after my dad passed, and I feel like that helped me tremendously. Now, I wasn't around like people partying and doing different stuff like that. I was just out at different local events that were free, different stuff at the park, different stuff at restaurants, trips that were vacations with myself and my boyfriend, trips with his family, doing stuff with my family. Those things help me to get through the process, because when you're on an island alone, an island to yourself, and especially for those who are single and you don't have anybody, this time is a time where sometimes the enemy tries to attack you the worst. Like, it's easier to navigate when you have someone that you're living with, you have a child that's dependent on you. But when you don't have any children, when it's just you in your home by yourself, and you've not only experienced loss of a loved one, you experience other loss around you, you can really come under attack. So one thing that you have to do is make sure that you stay on top of things spiritually. So praying, getting out of the house, getting in sunlight. If you're in a place that doesn't have sunlight, cut the lights on. Get around people who are lively, or just get around people to be around people. It helps. The tips that I have to offer for navigating through grief during the holidays are no different than the tips that I have to offer for navigating through grief year-round. The only thing that I will say is different about navigating through grief during the holidays is the fact that the images that are pushed to you during this holiday season, online, on Instagram, on commercials, everywhere, on billboards, at the mall, just everywhere, those things are pushed to you. Like everybody smiling, being happy, having gifts, life, people getting proposed to, people giving birth, all these different things. These images are pushed, so it makes it seem like it is the most wonderful time of year. But it's a lot of people that are not experiencing that. And if you are currently a person who is not experiencing that, just know that, this is a season. Grief comes to pretty much all of us. Unfortunately, in this life, death is something that is to be expected. Sometimes it comes to people prematurely. If you've experienced the loss of a child, a baby, a newborn, a parent, a dog, whatever the case may be, it comes to all of us, and it's hurtful. It's a pain that's indescribable. But just know that there are people who are experiencing the same thing as you, and you can get through. You will get through. It may be hard, but you will be able to navigate through it. But I'll say this: find some joy, or find something that brings you joy, at least one little thing that brings you joy in this season. So I don't care if it's you sharing a laugh with somebody who you don't know, or if it's you turning on Netflix and finding a comedy special and you just sitting and laughing with yourself. At least find one moment in this season to be able to experience some sort of joy, some sort of peace. So I know that this wasn't like a formal video. This is me in my vlog, in my little empty office that I'm working through decorating. But I just felt like in the midst of Vlogmas, in the midst of all this stuff going on with Christmas and all the joyful things, that I just take some time to talk to some people who might not be feeling so jolly or happy. And that's normal for you to feel like that if you've lost something. But don't let the grief overcome you. Don't let the grief overcome you. So I think that's all that I'm gonna say in this video. If you want me to do a formal sit down video, I'll think about it. I'll pray about doing a formal sit down video. But if you have EAP at your job, call EAP. If you have the ability to sign up for something on betterhelp.com or find a counselor in your area, or have someone who you can speak with who can help you to navigate, do that. But I definitely recommend like some sort of professional help outside of the people, like your loved ones, because you don't want to bleed on people, especially in the season. And another thing, a lot of times, especially during the holidays, it can be difficult for people to deal with seeing other people who haven't experienced loss navigate through the holidays. Like, say for instance, you somebody who is in a relationship with someone who has both of their parents and you lost both of your parents. It could be somewhat of an anger or a jealousy. Let that go. Let that go. Don't hold grudges towards that person. That's not something that they can control. That's something that's beyond their control. You know, don't wish loss or death upon other people just because you've lost your loved one, or you've lost your child, you've lost your spouse. I'm not sure if the video stopped recording where I was at, but I'm about to go downstairs, get these clothes off. Well, I'm about to go to my room, get these clothes off, go eat. I don't know what Drew ended up making for dinner. I think he did like some jerk chicken and some other stuff. About to go down here and eat and unwind and get myself ready for the next work day. Prayerfully, this week will go by smoothly. Although I am currently working on site, the goal is for me to kind of build up some revenue, some side revenue with the different things that I'm doing. So one of those things being Walmart creator. I am a Walmart creator. I mentioned it in my Paris Hilton video that I got approved to be a Walmart content creator. So if you haven't checked that video out, check that video out. I'm gonna put it right here. I plan on doing a lot more Walmart content. I want to get more into posting some things on Instagram, posting some things on TikTok, but I just have to find a way to kind of work with my current work schedule. Although I wasn't approved for the Amazon content creators and the Target content creator, I still am doing some different things that are Amazon related because I am a part of the Amazon affiliate program and I'm doing pretty well in that Amazon affiliate program. So the goal is to prayerfully next year be able to get approved to be a Amazon creator, and then just try to grow my social media platforms to get to the point of being like a nano influencer. Am I a nano influencer? I don't know if I'm a nano influencer. But grow and get more comfortable with being online on Instagram and TikTok. I could do YouTube all day long, but when it comes to Instagram and TikTok, I just don't know. I just have to find a way to learn how to navigate through those platforms. But I am on TikTok. I am on Amazon. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I just have to find a way to navigate. But let me get downstairs and I'll see y'all later. I don't know if this is going to be the end of the vlog or what, but yeah, I'll see y'all later.